Excellency, please, can we know the outcome of the meeting today?
We've been locked behind closed doors for a couple of hours. We had a good meeting. Issues were thrashed out on the situation in Nigeria today, in terms of with the issues centered around government intervention on the situation in the country. And we agreed to adjourn till tomorrow. As you know, Mr. President is making a national broadcast today, anytime from now actually. And based on what we anticipate that Mr. President will be telling Nigerians, we decided to adjourn this meeting till 12 noon tomorrow, before I guess Labour can decide whether or not they want to continue with their protests on Wednesday. But we believe that after tonight's broadcast, the president will speak to all the issues. He will roll out his interventions, and needless to say, we believe any reasonable person will tell you that at that point there will be no need for any protest.
What are some of the assurances government give to the organized labor in view of their demands?
Well, I think we should just tarry a while and hear Mr. President out tonight. But I believe that essentially most of the issues will be addressed tonight. Yeah, I think the NSA is also here. He can speak to some of the.
Thank you very much. Well, the meeting was an opportunity for us to appeal to the labor leaders, and by extension to Nigerians, that we are facing difficulties and challenges, not our making. We inherited a very bad situation. Most of the problems that people are talking about is not the creation of this government. This government is barely 2 months old, 60 days, and since we've been facing these difficulties and challenges. We have a president, a listening president, an engaging president, a president who will want to have a conversation and react. And he's doing that. He's really, genuinely, honestly doing it. So what we are talking and what the appeal that we are making out to, just not the leaders, all Nigerians, please understand what is going on. Please give us that support that is needed and required. We are working. We are trying to change things. We inherited a very bad situation. We are trying to stop those horrible things that we witnessed in the past. We are trying to stop the killings, stop the attacks of the trains, stop attacks of our prisons, stop what they are doing, stop bandits, stop Boko Haram, ISWAP, and also the problem of our own neighbors across. We have huge challenges. We want to appeal to Nigerians. Please, give us a chance. Give us an opportunity. We are working. You have a working president, and he's saying, give him chance. We intend to be honest with what we are doing. We intend to be transparent, and we are going to be accountable. We will do what is right and what is necessary to correct the wrongs that people are facing. Please, Nigerians, give us a chance.
Okay, sorry, sir. Why did the government not put in place all the necessary palliatives before taking the policy?
We are working on it. We are working. And look at what happened in Adamawa yesterday. We had a situation where grains were kept to be distributed across the country. Hoodlums just went in, destroyed it. Grains that ought to have gone all over the country. This is the situation. And we are talking about any little thing, a spark, would create serious, uncontrollable situations. Crooks, cheap people, cowards will take advantage of things. That's why we are appealing. Please, calm down. Give this government a chance. The Adamawa case is a good one. Grains that were meant to be distributed across Nigeria. Some few people wanted to go in, break, and steal. That's why we now appeal to labor leaders that I think this is not the moment to really do anything other than hopefully, give the new leadership chance encourage them to do what is right, stand by them. We are facing our problems internally and externally.
If I may just add to what you just said, what you just asked, why didn't the government roll out the palliatives before? Don't forget that in the first instance, the last government did not even budget for palliatives. And after the president got sworn in a matter of 3 weeks, by a fluctuation of time, there would have been no subsidy anyway. And so he seized the moment, and that's exactly what a leader does. He seized the moment, and so you wouldn't have had 3 weeks to plan for palliatives. The palliatives are not things you just roll out at the drop of a hat. Palliatives are things that are planned and things that take time. And even what he's about to do now, it's not overnight. They're normally, midterm, small to midterm measures. And so that is to say that there was no way and no how anyone could have planned and roll out the kind of palliatives we are rolling out now in a matter of 2 weeks.
Okay, so finally,
Yeah.
the government has accused, powerful cabals, being behind some of the problems we are having. These cabals, are they not Nigerians? Are they stronger and powerful, more powerful than the security we have in the country?
Yes, they are, and that's what this government is dealing with. They were, but this is a new government. This is a different government, and that's what they're dealing with. First of all, you remove the subsidy, and that's dealing with the cabals. That's the first step, and then we'll do other things that will necessarily follow. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys. 1 minute, please.
Yeah, Congress President, can we know the outcome of the meeting today?
Well, we just adjourned to listen to Mr. President's speech and then to continue our conversation tomorrow by 12 noon.
Will NLC go ahead with the planned protest?
Well, our peaceful rally will go on as scheduled. Even if we didn't have this problem and we decide to hold a rally, we still hold our rallies. So this rally has been fixed for 2nd, and we'll go ahead to hold our rally.
I don't know whether you were able to listen to parts of what the president said or is saying. I know one of your key demands has been the implementation of CNG. And the president is announcing that it's providing 100 billion naira for 3,000 CNG fueled mass transit buses. Will this have any impact on what you are doing?
That 3,000 will be for Lagos. And we have 36 states and FCT. So if that is, because I have not listened to it, if that is the situation, 3,000 buses, and that even will not go to rural areas.
He's also saying that he's going to monitor the impact of inflation and high gas prices. And if need be, he may intervene on
As part of macroeconomic policies or what? By the time you have a single market and then you are not having anything that has comparative advantage, you are even energy is import driven. And then how are you going to control it? How are you going to control somebody that exchange dollar at the extent of maybe 900? Are you going to tell him to sell at below the price? How are you going to tell even NEPA today, with the cost of production, not to increase tariff? Even corn in the villages that was sold at 18,000 by February, now is about 56,000. How are you going to control it? How you control the woman that goes from the house and transportation increase 3 times to reduce the cost of Gary? So we need to, understand all those things, probably because we have not listened to Mr. President's speech. By the time we listen to it, we understand, where that is going to. But it's important that you have mentioned this, for us to equally tell you how we have. And we're talking of practical economics. Unless you tell us the issue of checking the production and then the refineries working, producing locally, the CNG option, taken care of, which will bring down cost of transportation. By the time you do all these things, you can gradually see, then what is the cost, purchasing power of the worker? Can a worker still go to work? All those ones, maybe that's why we say we listen to it, and take them holistically, and continue the conversation.
Now, you have spoken about peaceful protest, but what are the measures in place to ensure that the protest is not hijacked by people?
Well, that one is simple. The NLC have been in the barricade for years. Our protest cannot, because I don't know of any number of people that are more than us that will come there and hijack our protest. Unless somebody is going to instigate that. The NLC rallies and protests have never in the history been hijacked. But this language, each time we want to protest, that's the language we hear, that our protests will be hijacked. Now, when you have an information, as a security personnel, police, DSS, whatever, it's their duty to provide security for us, to make sure that it's not hijacked. And that's the duty of the Nigerian police and the DSS. And I hope that in this particular instance, they will provide security for us so that this protest will be peaceful, in the light of what is happening. But I think the dividends are coming up with maybe some of the Mr. President's promises put, because you have lived in this country where promises are not translated to reality. So, but we hope, that things will change.
Yeah.
God bless you.
TUC. What additional information do you have for us?
Yes, I think he has gone through of what went through in the meeting. We've had an engagement where government as well did a presentation of what they think could be an alternative to PMS, and also what could be the palliatives. And we felt that because they told us that the president is going to make a broadcast today, and in that broadcast as well, that some of these areas are going to be touched. So we felt it was wise for us to retract and go listen to what the president has to say, and we internalize it, we analyze it, then we now meet tomorrow to further our conversation. Because if bulk of what the president have to say, probably putting timelines to them, and at the end of the day, we are now here debating what we don't have the full grasp of. It may be a bit difficult. So the best thing was to go look at those things, then we'll convey tomorrow to make further progress.
And if you could just put it concisely, how would you describe these interactions with the government so far? Because Nigerians are watching. You keep having this meeting with the government side, and we don't have any concrete resolution yet. So how would you describe them so far?
Yes, any opportunity to interact. Government will not invite us for meetings, and we will say, no, we are not attending meetings. That is not in the spirit of social dialogue. So when you are invited for meetings, you will attend such meetings. And when we got to the meeting, just as we have been, they have been briefing us. They will give us what they think would ameliorate the challenges. But it's also left for us to look at it and make suggestions on what we...
Headway is my question, really.
Yes. You cannot define headway fully until you sign a concrete agreement. Because all we are still doing is exchanging notes. They are telling us what they think could be done. We are also telling them that it is not enough, that they can do much more. So until we reach a concrete agreement, that's when we beat our chest to say we have made sufficient progress.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.